Hey there, welcome to today's live Friday episode of the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Klink, and I'm excited for today's show because I'm going to be going on a Bobby rant. And who doesn't like a Bobby rant? I think I do. I think most people do. So that's what we're going to be doing. And the topic of this Bobby rant, or the title is Stop Slapping Lipstick on a Pig. By the way, I'm only probably going to say that once because I always tend to fumble it up when I say it. But that's the general title. But the topic is about something broader, about something a little bit more specific, I guess I should say. I'm going to be talking about people who slap framework or process onto something they do. Because it's something you see a lot in the online space. A lot of people will do it, and you know, there's a couple of different places or a couple of different ways you'll see it. Sometimes people put a fancy word on it, like a fancy name, and like, oh, I got to make it fancy, and that'll be cool. And then other times people do something like the Klink process for blank, or the Klink email process, or something like that. And they do it in a way to try to make it sound like it's something really cool. I'm here to say, stop doing that crap. If you're doing it, we got to stop. And so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to rant about that today. And then I'm going to tell you what you actually need to be doing instead. So that's what we've got in store. It's going to be fun, I think, hopefully for most of you. So before I dive in, though, I just wanted to invite you again to Badass Online Marketing Live. It is my 3-day virtual event happening in early December. And we're going to be doing something where we're going to get you to figure out how to build a business you actually like or really love, and that will make you money consistently without using ridiculous or sleazy marketing gimmicks. Like randomly slapping framework or process onto something and thinking that's the solution to your problem. We're going to be going deep on, how to build a business that is actually kind of a real business and that'll be here for the long term. So that's what we're going into. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you know me, I'm going to try to make it fun. And we're going to build connection and we're going to do all that. We have a lot of stuff planned. So if you want to get the details, head over to bobbyklink.com/bomb live. That's BOM live. bobbyklink.com/bomb live. Now with that, let's dive in to this trend of people putting the word process or framework onto something they're doing. See, I want to talk first about, I think, why it's happening. And the reason it's happening is there are people teaching that we should be creating processes and frameworks. And it's all in the context of becoming a thought leader. I don't love the word thought leader, but I haven't figured out a better word for it. So I'm going to use it because I don't really know a better word to put there. But the concept is we hear, hey, you've got to kind of be a thought leader. You've got to be putting something out there and you've got to be establishing yourself and talking about it. And so people say, okay, cool. And then people talk about one way to do that is with a process and a framework. And so from that general concept, people take this message. Well, I just take what I do and call it a framework or call it a process. And that'll make people come and be like, oh yeah, this is cool. This is really awesome. This is what I need. That's not the way it works. I mean, no offense, but like I will see people, and here's like an example. Like I will see people who have something like, and this isn't an actual example, but it would be something like this. I have a Facebook advertising framework, and it's step 1, plan it out. Step 2, build it. Step 3, test it. Step 4, optimize it. No-ish. Of course that's what you're going to do. And that's the problem with these frameworks, okay? Is people are literally doing something that everybody is teaching, that everybody is talking about, that is the same as everybody else is doing, and it's just what everybody does, and they say it's my process. No, it's not. It's just the way you do things. That is not a process. That is not a framework that you should be talking about and marketing. And that's the framework and the process crap that I want people to stop doing. I don't want you necessarily to stop creating frameworks. Because look, if you followed me for a while, you know I have frameworks. I had what I called the FANS framework, which is for my Fans First Society. And I have now that what we're rolling out, what we're going to be talking about at Badass Online Marketing Live is what I'm calling the Badass Online Marketing Framework. So yes, I have frameworks. But let me talk about what's different. And let me talk about what you actually need to be doing to become a thought leader, to establish yourself, to cut through the noise. Step 1, have a creative, original thought. Yeah, I know it's hard. It's crazy that I'm saying that. But this is what is missing from almost everybody who's creating frameworks and all that crap. They're just using a framework and packaging up something that's not original, that's not creative, that's not unique. It's the exact same crap everybody is teaching, and they're calling it a process or a framework and thinking that's what you need to do. No. Create an original creative thought. Now, I'm not saying you have to be the first one to have had a thought. But what you have to do is you have to look at something differently. Like what's kind of a common thing in the way I've looked at marketing in my frameworks and what I've talked about is I have forever, unlike most of the people teaching online marketing, I don't focus exclusively on conversion. I don't think, hey, I need to convert people cold and get them to buy. No. My frameworks have been looking broader, and in the online marketing space, they're pretty unique. I say, no. Let's think about how we can get it to the point that people, when you make the offer, are already ready to buy. And that has to do with the stuff that comes before. So like the FANS framework was find, attract, nurture, serve. And serve, by the way, is where you sell. And so what I'm telling people is, hey, unlike what most of the people are telling you in this space, selling doesn't happen until way into the process. And I talk about it in more depth. What is find? What is involved in that? How do you do it? And how do you attract and do that? And how do you nurture? And then I talk about how the nurturing is the piece that most people are getting wrong and are ignoring and are just going, hey, I found them, I attracted them, now I'm selling them to them. So it's not like I was having some revolutionary idea that's stuff that no one had ever talked about before, but it's something that's different than what most people in the space are talking about. And the Badass Online Marketing Framework is a step further in that. What I'm doing in that framework is I am trying to get online marketers out of a marketing concept that most of the world as marketers, most kind of traditional businesses gave up like in the 50s or 60s. So seriously, I'm saying this. The way that most online marketers are marketing is what's called the selling concept of marketing. That is an idea that most marketers said, nope, we don't do that. I mean, it's not that you don't sell, but that's the concept, the approach to marketing. And we are, behind by 60 years or so. And I'm trying with this framework to say, hey, no, in the online space, here's what you need to do. And it's interesting because this framework, I'm combining traditional marketing for businesses, but also adding in the fact that we are personal brands. So it's a framework that says, hey, if you want to build a business you love, if you want to do it, you've got to think about personal branding, you've got to think about brand awareness marketing, and you've got to think about the conversion or direct response marketing. And it's an ecosystem. You need to be doing all of those things. So that's what this framework is. And, it's way deeper. I'm going to go way deeper into it at my event. But you can see how this is a concept that's different than what most people in the space are teaching. Like the first thing I teach, I'll give you a little hint, is you got to have an original thought. Like what I'm talking about here would be part of that kind of personal branding element. It's what I call commit to lead. You've got to be willing to do that if you want to actually get the results you want. And so when I do this, I'm talking about something that's different. And now let me go to, once you've come up with your original thought, your original spin, your original idea that's different from what other people have done, then you create the framework. Okay? That's the process. Step 1, come up with something original. Step 2, put a framework around it to make it easy to understand, to help people visualize it, to help people do that. That's what frameworks and processes and all of those are meant to do. And that's kind of the process you should be going through. And so just so you know, people, and again, well, let me step back there. So my problem isn't with people having a framework or a process. My problem is that people are slapping lipstick on a pig, taking an unoriginal thing that everybody else is doing, and then calling it their process. Or taking the most, like, there's literally no other way to do something, and calling it their process or their framework. That's the problem. Have the original thought, commit to be a leader, and add something to your space, and then put a framework around it. And, by the way, at my event, Bomb Live, we're going to be going deep into all this. I'm going to be walking through the Badass Online Marketing Framework in depth, what the steps are in each piece and how to do it. And then I'm going to bring my buddy Mel Abraham in, because he is a guy who teaches people how to be thought leaders, and he's going to teach you how to create frameworks right. Because I want people, my audience, to not be like saying, I'm just going to call something a framework. No, come up with an actual framework after you've come up with your own original thought. So that's what I'm doing. I want to help people do this right, because when you do it wrong, it doesn't help. But when you do it right, it actually does help, because it gives you something that you can really help people understand what your different spin on marketing or whatever you teach is. So that's my rant for today. Don't just slap the word process or framework on something that's unoriginal. And it doesn't matter even if you add that little TM sign. That doesn't make it better either if it's not an original thought. Now, if you have a great thought, cool, get it trademarked, or, put the TM and then go get it registered. I'm fine with that. But don't think that just slapping the word on it is going to make you a thought leader. It doesn't. A framework is something that puts structure to your thought leadership. But you have to be a thought leader first. So that's it for today. Now, if you like what I'm teaching about, if you want to learn more about this, if you want to figure out, okay, hey, this guy, maybe he knows what he's talking about. I want to learn how to do combining personal branding, brand awareness, and direct response marketing. And I want to figure out then how to create a framework once I've actually got my thought leadership in place. I'd love for you to join me at Badass Online Marketing Live. We're going to be going deep. It's going to be actionable. It's going to be information you can actually implement in your business, not fluff, because Bobby doesn't do fluff. So if you want to do that, head over to bobbyklink.com/bomb live. That's BOM live, bobbyklink.com/bomb live, and you can get all the details and grab your ticket. Now, if you're going to do it, I'm going to recommend you do it soon, because early bird pricing is going to end kind of soon. So you don't want to wait and then have to pay more. So head on over, bobbyklink.com/bomb live. That's it, and enjoy your weekend.